It had been 6 months since Terence and Tiffany moved into my house. They arrived with 2 large suitcases, a shoebox full of unpaid bills, and promises that this arrangement would be temporary. Their apartment had become unaffordable due to mounting debts. Tiffany had to close her nail salon after $8,000 of unpaid bills, and Terence had lost his commercial roofing job that once earned him $600 a week. They came to me, their mother and mother-in-law, seeking a temporary haven until they could regain financial stability. It felt almost heartwarming to have them in the house. My home had been quiet since my husband Marcus passed away 3 years ago. I had grown accustomed to silence, and the sudden presence of family brought a sense of life back into the empty rooms. I cooked their favorite meals, cleaned their rooms, and did everything I could to make them feel comfortable. Terence seemed appreciative, and Tiffany even helped me with the dishes after dinner. For a while, it was nice, but subtle changes began to appear, almost imperceptibly at first. The requests began as small favors, hidden behind the guise of gratitude. Terence asked me to do their laundry because Tiffany was too tired from job hunting all day. Soon, he demanded I cook only his comfort food so he could emotionally face job interviews. Cleaning their rooms daily became a requirement, as Tiffany claimed she was allergic to dust. I obeyed, thinking it was my duty to help them until they could get back on their feet. Little by little, the way Terence treated me began to shift. His polite please and thank you vanished, replaced by direct orders. I became his personal domestic employee in every sense. He demanded I wash his clothes with expensive softeners, cook specific cuts of meat costing $25 per pound, and clean the entire house daily in case friends came over. Tiffany silently supported this behavior, nodding as if it were normal. Despite all this, I continued to believe that my role was to support my child. After all, for decades, I had sacrificed everything for him. I had worked double shifts at the packaging plant, getting up at 5 a.m. and returning home at 9 p.m. I had paid $10,000 for his vocational program, sold gold jewelry to buy him his first motorcycle, and mortgaged my house to help him start a business. Every sacrifice had been made out of love. Yet now I found myself reduced to an obedient servant in my own home. Terence eventually found a new job at an insurance company, earning $400 a week, while Tiffany secured a part-time position making $200 weekly. Their combined income of $600 per week was sufficient to rent their own apartment, yet they stayed. Their behavior worsened. One evening, after I had cooked roast chicken with my own Social Security funds, Terence told me I had to wake up at 5 o'clock the next morning to prepare breakfast in bed for Tiffany. She smiled approvingly, while I held the dirty dishes in my trembling hands, feeling decades of sacrifices crumbling in a single moment. The memories of my lifetime of sacrifices flashed before me, caring for Terence during pneumonia, funding his motorcycle, covering his education, and providing for his wedding. All these acts of love seemed to have been forgotten, replaced by orders from a son who viewed me as a mere servant. That night, I stayed awake until 3 a.m., reflecting on every moment that led to this humiliation. By 3:30 a.m., I had made my decision. I quietly entered Terence's room, adjusted his alarm to 4 a.m., and left a note that read, "Time to make coffee for your wife like a real husband." I then retrieved a meticulously kept notebook detailing every financial sacrifice I had made for him over the years. A total of $75,000 that he had never repaid or even acknowledged. Tomorrow, he would wake up to more than just an early alarm. He would discover the value of all those years of support, and I would reclaim my dignity. This was no longer a simple story of hospitality or familial duty. It had become a story of survival, empowerment, and the courage to stand up against manipulation, even when it comes from one's own child. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of this story. I hope you were as shocked and surprised as I was as the situation unfolded. But this is far from over. The story continues, and the next part will reveal what happens when Terence wakes up to the surprise waiting for him. If you want to find out what happens next, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss part 2 coming tomorrow. Trust me, you won't want to miss how this story unfolds. Stay tuned, and thank you again for being a part of Voices of Auntie May.